Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Chris.
That's Shan.
And welcome to CCTV, the non-stop pop show.
And we will be discussing our experiences at Beyonce's Renaissance Tour and, of course, the film.
Welcome to CCTV. Here, Chris and I have the inside scoop with extensive experience performing on stage and working at record labels. And you can join us in on our in-depth conversations about global pop music on Patreon at patreon.com/cctvpops and become a part of our amazing crew, including Lily, Louie, Emily, and Julie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so this is kind of a part two because we did do a track-by-track review of Beyonce's Renaissance album when it came out.
Renaissance.
But this time we're going to talk about the tour because we did both go to different dates.
Yeah.
So very excited to discuss that. And also, if you are a Beyonce fan, you are probably also a Destiny's Child fan. And we do have our 3-part Pop 101 Destiny's Child episodes where we go through their entire career so far. And Latavia actually posted a clip of our show on her Instagram.
Yes,
which
she
is awesome.
did. Yes. Also, if you look deeply into the comments of the Destiny's Child 101, I've been labeled a Beyonce hater, which is hysterical. But yes, you got to hear it from a hater's perspective.
Oh.
About Renaissance. All jokes aside, though, thank you to Miss Latavia for reposting us and all the love we've been receiving on our comments, especially you, Chris. I was like, yo, he's making points. Let him cook. Let him cook. So, yes, we're to hop right into the whole experience about Renaissance and such. So, yeah.
Yes, let's talk about the tour first. We'll talk about the film afterwards. So the Renaissance World Tour, it began in May 2023, and it made its way through stadiums across Europe and North America with a total of 56 shows. And, of course, the tour became one of the most successful tours of all time.
Of course it did. The 3-hour show had Beyonce being her own opening act before taking the Beehive through every track on the Renaissance album. Well, almost all the tracks for a lot of the shows, and also intricately sampled and interpolated songs from her own back catalog and other influential artists.
Beyonce consistently debuted brand new costumes through the tour, highlighting not just name brand designers, but also pieces from local designers in the various cities that she was performing in.
This is true. You know, it's so funny. When you told me this was happening, I was like, oh my God, is she getting like fashion students? I was like, no, that's not how this works.
Still got to be established, you know.
Yeah, I realize.
Yeah, so Chantel and I we both went to different stops on the tour, so actually had very different experiences. So let's talk about those. So for me, I went kind of right in the middle of the U.S. leg of the tour, and I went to Minneapolis. Yeah. And I am so glad that I did because the Ticketmaster experience of the sale, because you didn't really have to deal with the initial sale, right? Because you bought it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was kind of a whole thing because after the whole Taylor Swift fiasco with Ticketmaster, I think they overcorrected because then they did this lottery where you had to sign up for specific dates. I don't think they actually gave as many winners as there were seats, right? Oh. So then it was kind of hard to actually win the lottery. So I actually did sign up for like New York and everything, but I didn't even get in those lotteries.
Jeez,
and then once we got into Minneapolis, there were so many seats. Like it was so easy to buy a ticket, that lottery.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a lot.
On top of that, the European prices were cheaper by like tenfold. So there were so many people I know that were flying to Sweden, flying to other parts of Europe, the UK. Yeah. Because the flight and the ticket was cheaper than just the ticket in the US. So, yes. Yeah, ticket prices are a mess. But we both got tickets, which is good. I am really glad that I went to Minneapolis, actually, because it actually is one of the smallest stadiums on the list. So, you know, the stage is massive, and that big circle that comes out at the end of the catwalk. Oh, yes. Basically, there were only maybe like 2 seats or 3 seats kind of in between that and then where the risers start.
Oh, nice.
So it was like, and I was on the side. So like we were actually very close, even though we weren't on the floor.
Oh, that's nice.
And ended up being like an amazing layout. It was a beautiful day. Yeah.
Oh, lucky. Nice.
Yeah. So where did you go?
You know, I think some people are like, why do you act like this is the first time you're hearing this? This is kind of the first time.
It kind
I
of
legit
is.
was like,
Yeah.
don't tell me anything. Like, I avoided all the clips too on the internet. I did so well. I muted all hashtag Beyonce everything. I didn't even look at the set list. You're like, what? So yeah, I went to the last tour date. When I tell you I did not look at anything, the only thing I did see was like, it was tough because I wanted to. The only thing I saw was that she, like in the beginning where she's laying down with the little stars on her boobies, but that's inside of the album, which I bought, which is still playing in my car to this day. But yeah, I went to the Kansas location, which was a relocation from like New Orleans, right? Nolans.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they had.
I know it was a reschedule, but I didn't know they like moved the cities around. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was Nolans. I could be wrong, but either way, it was a reschedule, and it was the last tour date. That one was interesting because the price that I could have paid to be on the floor, I waited till last minute, but I could have been on the floor for the price it was to be at MetLife in like area 200.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like,
totally.
Oh, absolutely not. But anyway, I waited till last minute. I did not end up on the floor, which is fine. So I ended up somewhere like in the risers, which is still pretty good. I will say what you had in like ticket buying process was the struggle that I had in getting to and post show exodus
of the venue itself.
Oh my God. You want to talk about sitting ducks? Oh my God. It's probably one of the worst venues to get to. And I don't think anyone really talks about it enough. So I'm going to say it. Arrowhead Stadium, you should be ashamed of yourself for not having mass transit to get out of your freaking place. So we all get there. And because the traffic's so backed up because people are going to this concert, a lot of people, a lot of fans, all you could see were just walking disco balls on the side of the highway to walk down because we're all thinking the show starts at 8. We don't want to be late. So many of us were walking down. It was just giving like we were all trying to immigrate to the disco, to the Renaissance town. You know what I'm saying? Renaissance City, if you will. Oh my God. We all like, people are stumbling in their heels, trying to get past this one fence. It was just giving very like tacky. The show started about an hour and a half later because obviously it wasn't filled. So it turned into this thing where it was like, oh my God, I'm going to miss the show. No. So we waited for the whole thing to fill up, which was, that took forever too. But once the show started, I was taken. I was crying a little bit. Granted, the whole issue of me getting to that place was stressful. But I was like, she's here. Beautiful. But then we left. When I tell you, I did not get home until about 5 in the morning, and that show ended around like 11:30.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I mean, the weather was nice. She sounded good. I will say, I think I told you that it sounded like her mic was peaking a little bit sometimes. Like the sound was, I think it could be a speaker issue. I don't think it was her team. Maybe it was. But it did sound like it was kind of hot a couple of times.
Might be the venue's sound system. Okay, well, let's talk. Okay, what's the best way to do this? Well, let's talk about broadly first. Have you seen Beyonce before? And
oh yeah.
But yeah, let's ask that first. Have you seen Beyonce before?
Yes.
Okay, where? When?
Okay, so prior to the Renaissance, I saw Beyonce during Formation, and that was it because I was too young to go see her by myself. And I'm not going to lie, I did not like Beyonce when she was like, when she actually was like a little bit younger.
Right. We don't need to get into that here. Yeah.
No. My point is, I didn't know, like I was too young. And also I wasn't like a huge fan of her when I was younger. So by the time I did become a fan, I was old enough to go to the shows by myself. It was Formation. So I missed Miss Carter.
Okay.
I missed the B experience, but I did watch them. I do have I Am on DVD, but Formation was like the first.
Okay. How do you think her performance has changed, or how do you think it was compared to the Formation tour?
Oh my gosh. You know what? It's so funny. Like even looking at her from like way back then, like on DVD, she was so extra, but she grew up in that era where you had to like throw everything and the wig on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like leave everything on the dance floor, right? So she grew up in that era where being extra was pretty acceptable. We look back on it now and it's like, yo, do it too much. But now that she's gotten a little bit older and she doesn't have much to prove, essentially, it comes across as so much more smoother, as like legendary, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like where Mike used to be doing all these crazy robot moves with the Jacksons, and then eventually Dangerous Tour would come up. He just stands there for like, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
That's the kind of effect that she's gradually grown into. She hasn't done all the crazy things where she's flipping on things and coming down on riggings and everything. She doesn't have to do that anymore. So I think she's gotten a lot, not better, but it's become a lot more refined to a point where it's like, you can't say that she's a bad performer. Like, you don't know her as a person, whatever, but you can't look at that woman and go, what's so special about her? I just,
no way.
You can't, at this point, it's like incongruent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think she's gotten a lot more refined. I don't know if the better is the word, but it doesn't feel like she has something to prove. Like the runs that take forever, the crazy.
Yeah.
She used to do crazy facials. Like they're crazy now, but she's not so like, this is what the performance has to be. Like she's making sounds like like she's performing, you know, like she's screaming, she's yelping. So she needs a lot more fun too. Like she's like a human and not like, I have to be this perfect performer, you know? So what do you think about it? Because I know you've seen her a couple of times. We've talked about it.
Yeah, so I've seen, the first time I saw her was for the Beyonce experience in 2007. It was right after my SATs in high school. And then I saw her again on the Mrs. Carter tour, the first round, before the self-titled came out. So setlist changed halfway through that tour. But yeah. So yeah, I was very, very excited to see her for this one. I do think she has gotten better in the sense that it's just more relaxed.
Yeah.
Like kind of what you were alluding to, really. Like she can actually just have fun now. It's not like we make fun of that Beyonce experience performance of Flaws and All, where like every show she had the single tear, you know, and it really is like every single facial, every single ad lib was so planned.
Yeah.
And this one definitely did feel a lot more loose. And I think she did allow herself to really just be in the moment a bit more. And the performance as a whole was also, she didn't have to do as much, right? She didn't have as much choreography. The staging kind of all happened around her, you know, like even like with the robotic fans, for example, like she just has to stand there for the most part and just kind of move up and down to it. She doesn't have to be like running around and doing all the stuff like she used to. Yeah, exactly. And I will say vocally, maybe the best she's ever sounded.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. I think now that she's like, it's interesting because she used to be a lot in her nose when she used to sing, which is normal if you're trying to hit like higher notes at certain points. But she used to be really up in there. Now she's like, take it a half step down, and it sounds so good. So yeah, I think it's cool to be able to watch it happen in real time. You know, it's really cool, and being able to see it and like, I mean, even you like as a performer, you're like, wow, this is a lot, but it's not. You want to be a part of it. You don't feel intimidated by watching her. Like it didn't, like before she used to do all the work, but now I'm just like, wow, this is like, it felt like very welcoming. Yeah, it was fun, like you said.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So speaking of the stage though, and all the staging, we have seen her with, I mean, she just came from Coachella, right? So it was like, how can you top the whole like HBCU thing that you did? Like, how do you go beyond that? Like, do you feel like staging wise that this tops or like kind of sits in line with like Formation? Because I remember going to see the Formation and they had those doors, the walls that opened and stuff and all that extraness and the water.
I would say Formation was actually more epic in that way. If you're gonna talk, if we're going kind of from that angle, I think Formation was more. The staging for this was actually like relatively, I don't want to say simple because it wasn't, but like the stage itself was actually relatively simple, right? Like it was basically almost looked like an inverted disco ball, or like you were inside a half a ball.
Yeah.
And just gigantic screens. And then of course you have like the runway that comes out into the circle. But there wasn't like
the water.
Yeah. There wasn't like a ton of effects and things like that. Like it kind of really did just kind of like, it was really quite bare. Like you kind of knew what to look at.
The props were what helped elevate it too.
Yeah. And it kept it very versatile because then every single song she would bring something different to it, whether it would be some crazy contraption like those robotic fans or like those poles that Les Twins were
oh my God,
like bouncing around, swinging on. The inflatable horse that comes out for Break My Soul that I feel is like so underused because like,
I know the disco donkey deserves more love.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it looks so cool. But like she's out in the front, so like no one's even looking at it. But anyway, you know, the tank, like there was a lot of stuff, but it was kind of like there was just one special thing for each song. And it kind of kept the whole show going there.
Yeah.
I will say the outer ring
Oh yeah.
I don't know how where you were in the venue, but like we could tell. So it didn't block us, but because the way the ring was, there was a part of it that goes up, like it goes raised, and there were people that were sitting right there, and I was like, oh, that sucks. Like if you're right there, that actually blocks your view of the main stage,
the whole thing. Yep.
And I was like, ooh,
it is. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. So I feel bad for those people.
That's the thing about wanting to be so close. Like I used to be like go to like K-pop concerts. It was always GA. Me and my friends decide like after like the first time I made that mistake, never to be so close where our neck is up, we can't see anything. You'll still see everything, but you just won't be like earshot distance. That's it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But like
I will say the best thing about the staging though, and the stage itself, is because so I don't usually love stadium shows because often you're just staring at an ant like right on the stage. But you know, Beyonce kind of knows how to handle that. Like she knows most people are watching the screen. Yeah. And so she'll have the moments where she just is holding the camera or the camera's right in front of her and the whole thing's being projected. She is being projected pretty much the entire time. Yeah. And that was great because
absolutely
that sucks when there's like all this cool stuff on the screen, but you can't actually see them, you know, which happens in most stadium shows, I would say.
Even in smaller shows, you'll have like this random stock image of something that pertains to the song. And I'm like, I can't see this person's face. I can't see the emotion. All I can do is hear them. Like, just in a recent show I went to. But yeah, no, you're right. The mirrored images, like you're getting her in maybe like this little bit of latency. But for the most part, the latency wasn't so bad where I was like, damn, it's off. That's impressive. But yeah, I think overall I agree with you in terms of like how she set it up. It was definitely like, wow. We'll get into like the whole, what's your favorite like portion? What's your favorite like set? But what do you think about the set list? Because I remember when this concert, the whole thing first started, there was like some guy on the internet talking about, I don't understand why she's singing all these slow songs in the beginning. And
that guy was rightfully canceled.
He was
he was dragged. He was dragged. No, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. Like the whole opening for herself situation.
I didn't know that's what it was.
Amazing. Yeah, the ballad section is her opening for herself.
I didn't realize until you told me what it was. Like I was like, what? Because I didn't watch anything, remember? I only just happened to hear about the dragging.
She timed it perfectly at our show. I don't know if she did this at every show, but it literally was like as the sun was going down is when she started the opening act, so that the second the real show, quote unquote, started, it was dark.
Oh, cool.
It was like the best timing. I was like, she killed that. And they did actually show Minneapolis quite a lot in the film, so maybe that was part of it too. But yeah, I thought the opening was fantastic because, I mean, I personally love the Beyonce ballads. She didn't necessarily choose my favorites in this case, although I do love I Care, so I was very excited for I Care. But I think because the show itself, or the Renaissance show, is so fast-paced and the transitions are so seamless, she doesn't really talk. There's no room for her to really talk much or interact much. And because she is always doing something, you know, she has to be standing somewhere. She has to be like, you know, getting ready for the next block or whatever. She doesn't have the time herself to also just like soak it all in. Yeah. And so that opening kind of gave her that opportunity
to do it. Like, hi, oh my God, thank you for coming to the party.
Yes.
You know,
and really just kind of like soak in the atmosphere. And also sing her butt off. And then be like, okay, I really have nothing to prove now. Like, now the show.
Absolutely. She's like, listen, y'all got these live vocals. If I decide to pull up an MP3 and not sing for the rest of the show, you're welcome.
Which she didn't really do. There were only a few little moments that were pre-recorded, which you know most artists do. So yeah. What did you think of the set list?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. When I heard the songs that she chose, like, I didn't look at anything.
Like for the opening or in general?
Yeah, I didn't at anything. I didn't look at the set list or anything like that. So in the opening, though, speaking of the opening, I did hear the guy was upset because he's like, "Why did she sing? What was it? Dangerously in Love?" So I was like, "Oh, Dangerously Love's there." Okay. I feel like it just makes sense because obviously that was like the debut album, you know, like that's where it comes from, and then like Flaws and all. I feel like it did enough to go through the ballads on each of the albums that came before it. You know what I'm saying? Like it did enough to kind of set it up where it was like, okay, Dangerously in Love, Flaws and All, because it's, Sasha Fierce. That was like her big pop record. 1+1, that's the record that people know from 4, and Love on Top. I Care came a little bit after, and then she added River Deep, Mountain High, which came after Tina's passing.
Right.
So it kind of all made sense. But at the same time, I was also very much like, I don't know how I feel about this. I didn't hate it, but I didn't understand it. And that's just my own personal kind of like, I want the action. So I don't completely blame that guy for saying that. Like, he's like, well, I wasn't expecting this. But it's not our job to sit there and project what we want onto someone when we're going to their show. Like, they're inviting us into their space. Like, it's their, it's like, this is my house. Pun intended. This is my house. Like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, this is the warming up. This is the hors d'oeuvre. So when I finally accepted it, I was like, okay, I get it. This is like literally like the progression of everything. It's what you know. This is what you love. This is what I'm really good at. Now let's dance, honey. Let's party. Let's celebrate because I appreciate you. Like, these are love songs,
Right,
it's just
right.
her singing "I love you" to the fans.
Right,
and now
right.
it's like, okay, now we celebrated our anniversary or whatever the heck we're celebrating right now. Let's go party. So I appreciated that. And shout out to her pianist. I don't want to say it in that weird way. The pianist. I do not know her name. I didn't look it up, but they were really like, I love when you have a band or an instrumentalist that really is just like, I am here for you, the artist, not just like it's a check. You can tell because she's like looking at Beyonce, like there's chemistry there. And I think throughout the show we see that, and it's so nice because I think she like not got rid of, but she kind of cleaned house a bit in a sense of like new faces. Like, there was no Kim, there was no Ashley, there was no, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a bunch of people that we had not seen before. Maybe she knew them, but she used to have the band that was all female, and now it's mixed gender and pregnant women and things like that. So I think overall, like, watching that and the crew like guiding her with her grounds and stuff like that, it just set up a nice little foundation for what was to come next.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, yeah, giving the band kind of a big moment too, because they were kind of hidden for a lot of the actual show as well, which kind of it made sense, kind of just with the staging of it. But yeah, just to finish up the set list talk first, I guess she then proceeded to do most of the album or the whole album, depending on what show you're at, in order.
I got all of it.
But with like random kind of tracks from her back catalog kind of thrown in through it, sometimes full songs, sometimes just really quick interpolations and things like that. What did you think of some of the like choices she made from the back catalog?
Honey, she did such a good job, because the thing is like, I think some people I also saw like commentary about like, how come she didn't do any of their songs from this album and that album? I'm like, honey, she went on tour for those. If you missed the tour, you missed it. This is the Renaissance.
Exactly.
Hello. I think what's always impressed me about not just her, because it's not just her working on the music, but I'm just going to say her, is that she's always been very current, and she keeps not only just women around her, but men who have their ear to the ground in terms of like hip hop and what's cool. Like, I saw The Dream at certain points. Jay-Z's like on credits, like they're constantly collaborating. So I'm pretty sure she has her own ideas, but like the hip hop interpolations, like, having Ape-ish for like that, I'm That Girl, the Toxic. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, stop it. Bring it. I love it. Even just her mixing her own music in there was just so like,
yes.
It was a little bit of a tease at certain points. Like, there were certain songs.
Sweet Dreams.
Yeah.
That was the biggest tease. Because people love Sweet Dreams. And I know you mentioned that the tours, but like she never used Sweet Dreams on the tours, right? Like I think she performed at like an award show. Like I don't think she really did it on tour. So that was the one that everyone I think was a little disappointed about. Like at least just give us a chorus. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But you're so right, because I'm thinking about it. I have that DVD. I wore that baby out. Okay. Yeah, she didn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, like, it's just so clever. And then even when you look at the VCR, the video interludes, I keep saying VCR, sorry. The video interludes, those have interpolations of house music from like way back in the day. And I'm like, oh my God. Like if you are a New Yorker or live in the tri-state area and you've been in the car with your Black parent, and you went to WBLS, they were playing house music on repeat. And it'll be like the long, like 12-inch versions of these mixes, bro. Like it would never be like a short version. So I was like taken back to like sitting in my mom and dad's car, like, oh my God. I think overall, like, nothing felt irrelevant. Not irrelevant, like out of place. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been to shows and I'm like, why would you? Okay, so is this?
I think the only moment that I know some fans are talking about, which I disagreed with, but I just saw the discourse online, is Rather Die Young. The Rather Die Young Love on Top moment. I think people were confused about Rather Die Young. I actually love that song. And Beyonce, I think, was like, oh, I love this song from this album. But that was the only one that I saw people kind of being like, what? That, and then I think Before I Let Go as well, people were kind of like, that's random. But she never performed that before, I don't think.
It's not, it's from the Formation at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie she released. Come on, y'all. Hello, Cozy. It just sounds, Cozy sounds like a barbecue song. And Before I Let Go is at all of the cookouts. Like, come on. Y'all need to sit down. Sit down now. But yeah, did you have any moments where you were like, oh my gosh, my soul has been snatched, I've been grasped?
I did thoroughly enjoy her singing the random lines of, like, it was one line from random songs at the end of Virgo's Groove.
Yes, that threw me off. I was like, what is she?
Yeah.
Those are the songs that she didn't perform.
I enjoyed that because, people would go crazy for even just the word,
You're so right, because I did.
I love Get Me Bodied, so I was just very excited to have Get Me Bodied in there. That got a good little moment. Yeah.
That song is so good. It's so fun. Yeah. She's smart for putting it in there. Also shout out to, because she doesn't have was it the Divas? The Mamas. It's not the Mamas anymore.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't the Mamas. It was a set of new girls that she named, was it the Honeys?
I think the Honeys, right?
The Honeys or something. Yeah, the Honeys. The Honeys they were doing what they had to do. I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, just hearing them singing with her, and it wasn't a lot of backtrack. Well,
their version of Love Hangover was pretty great. Yeah.
I mean, that whole album was giving me like the Rick James. I forgot if you guys look at our Renaissance review, I was like, one of these songs sound like the Rick James girls, the singers. To my house. Yes, I think set list wise, it was pretty good. I love that they kept Diva, because I love Diva. Diva's such a good song.
Blue Ivy would agree with you. Yes. Okay, so we talked about the outfits a little bit in the beginning. Any absolute favorites from across the run? What did you think of just the idea of her just kind of doing new ones?
I think that was really cool. I think it's a good idea to do, because what ends up happening with tours, even with the Doja show that I went to, she's only wearing like one outfit, and her biggest fan was like, "Why are you only doing that? Even I was like, where's the costume change, girl?" I didn't realize like that was the gag. Like the gag is I'm not doing that. Like I'm here to perform. Beyonce did the opposite, where she's always changed her costumes, but they've always been kind of the same, or like maybe they're different color. This one was like, I'm pulling from this person, that person, that person, this person, that person. And not only is it really cool that she has that access to those kinds of like designers, she has that pull, it's an opportunity to give a platform for a lot of these artists. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe just kind of galvanize your interest in fashion, because I remember looking at some of this, like I saw one clip and I was like, it's giving Mugler fall winter 95, darling. I was like, yes, I was living for it. But like as a concept as a whole, I guess the whole idea is to bring about new, and that's what the costuming did, was to bring about even the costuming for the dancers was new. It wasn't just like people the only one that gets the new clothes. So yeah, I think overall that was cool. It was cool.
I think with tours as well, like because the artists are so busy, they can't really be doing much. So a lot of the time, like after the initial buzz of the opening night, the rest of the tour, you don't really hear much, from that artist. It's just kind of like, oh, they're on tour. Yeah. In this case, every time she debuted a costume, it was all over everything. Yep. And she would post, a picture on her Instagram of the special costume of that night. And so it kept everyone talking, because even until the last stop, people were still excited to see what she was going to wear. Yeah. And then it made the movie really fun too, because then you could, look out for the show that maybe you were at. Yeah. I will say my favorite outfit though is the gold hands bodysuit.
It's a Love custom bodysuit. It's a Spanish brand.
Is that spelled? Okay?
It's spelled Loewe, but it's Loewe.
Oh,
I can't pronounce it. I'm too broke to pronounce it, but I know what it is.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite. I didn't like the silver and red ones as much. Like, it's the gold one. That's the one.
Because that's her color.
That's the one.
She's a gold member. She literally is gold member. Any other ones that stood out to you?
I mean, they were all great. Like the variations of the bee one. I mean, it got more. Well, I mean, the very first one that she did, she could barely like move in it. So then she was able to do it much more full out by the end. But yeah, that was a great moment. Just very, very camp. Yeah. How about you?
I have a couple. I have the bodysuit listed because it's like honey. I have the Iris Van Herpen jellyfish-esque kind of costume. It was in her Amsterdam style. That one was probably one of the most like futuristic kind of queen, like coming down from the mothership kind of costume. That one ate down. There was another like blue organza one too. But yeah, the Mugler design like bee costume.
Yes,
that is hysterical. I loved it, and I think that whole section for the mind control section was very coded in like cheekiness, where it's like, y'all haters calling it with the Illuminati mess, where it's like mind control. I'm the queen bee. Like she's wearing like snaky kinds of things with the Illuminati kind of conversation. So I think that was really clever. I think the Ivy Park stuff was really, I don't know if the word's interesting, but I think a year ago, Ivy Park was pulled from Adidas. It was just like, hey, bam, we're done. But for her to pull it out for this tour, it kind of, I'm not sure if it like reactivated some want for it, but when I saw it, I was like, damn, I should have got that. It looks so good. It looks so good on the dancers. It looks so good on her. Yeah. So good for her being able to do that. And I think one of the really awesome moments that really kind of show that she is paying attention to fashion and that her team cares was the UV reacting gown for anointed section.
That was very cool. Yeah.
I was like, nice. Because it just happened like, what, a year ago? Like not even like within this year. So yeah, those are my like kind of top pick. Some of them like overlap with yours, obviously, but like
nice.
I think it's cool.
All right, so general concept of the show. What do you think of just kind of the overall kind of the theme and everything?
Do you want like tin hat version, or do you want? Yeah. So if you're new to the show, I usually am the one that's like, I think I got this from the video and that. Okay. So when I saw this before the movie even came out, I was thinking to myself like, yo, this is like her creating a new world. Like everything was very much like skyline and then building from the ground up with the chrome. Like even when she came out in the beginning, like she's laying down as the sun is rotating and time is passing. She's naked. She is just there, and talking about her existence as a human being. And I was like, wow, this is kind of deep, B. What's going on? And as it progresses, you get introduced to this chrome kind of structure and then chrome people, and everything is beautiful and perfect and powerful and strong, and it's interesting. Like it definitely blew my mind, and I was getting in my head like, wow, she's really trying to like create this new world that transcends the time and the space and the everything that we're in. Like everything was very well thought out. We've been to a fair share of shows where the VCR / interlude makes no absolute sense to anyone. Yes. It's just there to be a fashion, an editorial, whatever. Perfume commercial. This had purpose, and it blew my mind. Like I think a lot of the chrome shots just reminded me of her when she was at B-Day. It reminded me of Mugler 95 fashion, the Fembot, Metropolis, or if you heard about the now new accusation of Hajime Sorayama, who also designed the whole chrome robot futuristic thing for the Weekends tour. He's like, hey, it's my stuff. So I'll talk about that later. But I think overall it was just about building something bigger and new, and eventually what she said was a safe space. So I
thought that was a really cool way to do it, because I mean she did honor kind of like LGBTQ plus like house music history, ballroom history, and I'm glad it wasn't too on the nose in that way. Like I'm glad she kind of went the kind of just like futuristic kind of thing, and wasn't just like
absolutely
a very like literal kind of way of celebrating that history and that culture. So yeah, I thought it was super, super smart.
Conceptually wise, I think it's probably one of her, I don't know, not strongest, but one of the stronger ones. I was like, oh yeah, I like it. Solid. It's definitely solid. But yeah, just adding to the whole concept was the dancers. Like you said, the whole having the alphabet kids there, it matters. I mean, like, I guess this new world isn't just for them, but those are the people who are, I don't say next in line for the struggle Olympics, but essentially like color lines and then sexuality and orientation. They kind of just keep flip-flopping which one is going to get cursed at and talked about in the media next. And it's one of those things that will always be connected. Like, you can unfortunately, you can't sit there and be just Black. You have to be that. You can't just be Asian. You can't just be gay. You have to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it makes sense to have the team of people that she had around her, like the dancers being from different houses. It's interesting seeing, because it's like, if you're a newer dancer, or like you're newer to the scene, or you don't know anything about dance, this was the best place to kind of learn about it, because you had different bodies, different kinds of people representing the races, representing the sexualities, just basically encompassing what I was saying. Like, you can't just be. And they weren't just being. They were everything all at once. They were femme, they were mass, they were strong, they were giving you all the emotions in just different forms and different moments. And I think, as abstract as this all sounds, I think that was the point. You can't force them into one set thing. And I think that's what I got from like watching a lot of the dancers and watching a lot of the movement, because I was looking at some of it and I was like, oh, she danced with the guys right now. Oh, she danced with the girls right now. It was just flip-flop back and forth. So aside from them being from the LGBTQ plus community, you're just solid dancers, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have, what's his name? Oh, my God. Jonte Monet.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. He is, if you don't know who he is, he did Single Ladies, he did Freakum Dress, and if you're a K-pop fan, he did Whistle by Blackpink. He's done Twice's choreography at some point or another. Like, you know, he's been around for a while, you know?
Yeah,
and it's so cool.
He used to teach in New York every week.
Yeah, a lot of them are from New York. Like Honey used to be at, or I'm not sure what they identify as, but they used to be at OTA, like the little ballroom scene that's here in New York. And then Narita, I know her sister because I met her on set somewhere. Like, the world is very small. So it was just interesting seeing all of that, seeing the technique, that little cipher that they had, introducing all the dancers. I'm not sure what dancers you got for your show, but I got Honey.
We got Honey as well.
Yeah, Honey goes all the time, I feel like, but we got different ones. We didn't get Aaliyah Janelle. We got, like, you know, because each show was like they were calling out different dancers.
Yeah, they featured different ones. I
don't know how they figured that out, but kudos to them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the choreography was really, really well done, because, like you said, they were mixing not just the feeling, but like different styles. Like, it wasn't just ballroom styles. Like, there was street jazz in there was hip hop in there. Like, there was a lot of different influences in there. So yeah, it was really great.
It's really great.
Nothing bad to say about that. Anything else about the show you wanted to discuss?
Oh yeah, I guess I heard something about the band already. Oh, speaking of the band, literally when I left Arrowhead with my friend, some guy tried to walk up on sheet. My friend and I was like, I'm with the band, but they didn't let me in. Like, he was being such a creeper. And I was like, dude, when I listen, little fun things about Arrowhead, you know? God. But anyway, the band was good. And it's interesting because I remember hearing like rumors about Beyonce getting background checks for everyone. And yeah, I think you had mentioned
she probably has done every tour.
True, but for whatever reason, I guess after all this craziness that's been coming out, like after, like, you know, during the pandemic, everyone was getting their butts dragged on the internet, like, you're this, you're trash. Like, we're still finding things out about our media moguls and our music moguls now, you know what I'm saying? So I guess when she did that, it was like, go ahead, Queen Bee, you make sure you search everybody. But it was nice to kind of, I guess, hear that, consider what's going on with music and people getting exposed and stuff like that and outed as being trash. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But no, her band was solid. Oh my God. I wonder, were they the same people from Formation? I don't think so. Not Formation, the Homecoming.
Coachella? Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe some of them. I don't think all of them. No, I thought the band was brilliant. I think, like I said before, like, it was nice when they had moments because it made it more special, actually. Because I feel like a lot of the time, like the band is kind of just like in the corners, you know, or not really highlighted, but like it was always made a point. Like, for example, like Cuff It, right? Like it was made a point that like she was right in the middle with the band. And they all had this kind of big moment. And then there were other songs where then they could kind of like be in the corners. But like, because they were given these moments, I think it just made it a bit more special. All the arrangements and stuff were great.
There is a couple of things that I did hear about during my like Beyonce blockage. It was several things that were happening during the concert, like special appearances, special challenges, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. How did the mute challenge fare for you? Because when I was in Kansas, I'm not sure if you've seen the tapes. We were garbage.
Minneapolis was great. I think there were a couple little hollers, but for the most part, everyone got it. So like, I also did my best to not really know too much about the show when I went. Yeah. I did see some of the photos and stuff that she was posting and stuff, but I didn't really see any clips. I only saw a clip of Blue Ivy dancing at that point. My friend one of the friends that I went with, he literally was just like, "Oh, the only thing I'm going to tell you is when she says mute, go on mute." That was the only thing. That was the only thing. He was like, "Oh, that's all you need to know." So yeah, we did fine. Yeah. How about you?
Kansas was trash. I don't know what it was. I don't know what was in the water.
Obnoxious people.
Yes. And I'm like, this is not your moment. It's, you know, and I think people are like, why are you guys taking it so seriously? It's one of those things when you play a game, you don't want to lose.
Yeah, it's just a game.
That's it. It's just a game.
Yo, the people who weren't doing it are just being beep holes.
Bean poles?
Beep holes. The beep.
Oh,
beep.
beep. Oh, beep holes. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, so I'm going to say bean poles for now. But yeah, bean poles. But
like, they're just being obnoxious for no reason. Like, they're just ruining it for everyone for no reason.
Yeah.
They're just people like that in this world.
Yeah.
They just like to ruin things for other people.
Dude, when I tell you I was so annoyed, because my section, we were all just like, shut up. It was fun.
That will egg them on.
Yeah. I wouldn't curse somebody out like some of these people were doing in the video. They were going hard. Like, shut the F up. I was like, oh.
There are people getting violent too.
Yeah, I was like, it's not worth that. But it's
there are people
fun.
Also like being filmed and then found on social media and then being dragged on their own social media.
That's too. Okay, y'all, simmer down. Okay, put the stingers away. Put the stingers away. Yeah. Speaking of stingers and such, I feel like some people came out of the woodwork who didn't even go to the show, or who did go to the show and were dragging us 12-year-olds. Speaking of stingers and such, Blue Ivy. Coming out. I'm shifting gears a bit. I'm sorry. I'm shifting.
11.
Okay. Either way, she's not old enough for all the criticism. Granted, people have been criticizing this little girl since she's birth, which is very strange all in itself. But that's for a different show. But all that crap aside, I do appreciate her going out there in front of all those people. I remember seeing a clip of it because Mama Tina was like, my grandbaby reminds me of Aaliyah. She's all smooth with the dancing. But then when she got comfortable, she was killing it. Did she come out during your show?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Okay. I think she did almost all of them, right?
I think so.
I think she did almost all of them.
Yeah.
I think it was great. I think it was really cool to see her progress, actually, through the time. I think it's hard, like, when you're in that position, you know, like she's going to be judged. There's just that's just going to happen, and like people are also going to be harder on you just because of who your parents are. Yeah,
it's a weird psychology. It's kind of pathetic.
Yeah. But it just, you know, their parents are on this huge pedestal. They're seen as basically just like royalty, like unofficially. Yeah, you know, so like if you're anything she does, there's going to be an expectation there, which is tough to deal with as a kid. And, you know, from watching the documentary and stuff, seeing that she was the one who like really wanted to do it and push through it, I think that was good. Because, you know, I think there was also people questioning like, oh, of course, like,
why is she putting her daughter up there? She's positioning her. She's like, and you know, it's unfortunate that people want to say those things, but most parents don't not most parents, but a lot of these parents who are like super famous don't usually go like, I want this kid to, the kid's like, hey, I want to do this. And of course, they're like, listen, I have an opportunity here for you. Here it is. Because I've seen some celebrity kids. If the parents were really forcing them, Chet Hanks would not happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I don't think it's always the case. In fact, and then she's a little kid. I don't think Beyonce would want to put her daughter, like, force her daughter what she's been through, you know?
Totally.
But yeah, you did mention the documentary, and just kind of pivoting a bit. What did you think about it overall?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. If it didn't cost so much, I would have gone again.
Oh my God, me too.
That was an expensive movie. I'll wait till it comes out on demand or whatever they're doing. But yes, she did release the film worldwide. It did feature footage from across the whole tour, which I loved. I think everyone knew it was going to be like that after how she did Homecoming, right?
Thank God, because
but it was kind of interesting to see like what costumes she chose, what shows she chose. And then of course with the film, at least the film version, it was not the whole show. There were some songs that were cut out, and there was some documentary footage that was kind of slotted in to various parts of it too. But yeah, I guess just talking about the concert footage first before we get into some of the behind the scenes stuff, I thought it was brilliant, like very meticulously done. Like you can tell parts of it were also filmed like not with the audience, you know, like she knew the blocking that she wanted for the film, so they kind of did some filming kind of just on the sound stages or whatever. And I thought just the way you never really knew kind of when the costumes would switch. Like some songs she would pretty much just keep it to the one performance or the one costume. Some she would show like a huge variation, so it kept it very, very interesting. And I agreed with kind of all the stuff that she cut out for the most part as well. Like I think she kept the momentum really going. It kept the focus on the album itself. What do you think of like the concert footage portion of it?
It was cool. It was cool to watch that. I think we and I watched a fair share of documentary, like, you know, I mean, if you guys see The Truth or Dare with Madonna, that one was good. That one was really good. For its time, it did what it needed to do. What other documentary I've seen? Like, you just watch music documentaries. Okay, it was cute. Whatever, I get it. Fine. Ha ha ha. But this one was actually pretty solid, and I was just like, because no offense to Beyonce at all, but I think maybe because she is who she is, people have like this really high expectation of her acting, of her breathing, of her walking, of her talking, and this documentary did a very good job of showing people why she is held to such a high standard. Because I like to look for, like, not purposely, but I tend to notice, I tend to notice little blips and bloops in certain things, musicals, movies, and I didn't notice too many. I didn't notice any at all. I didn't write anything down. I don't look for them, but I'm like, oh, that happened. That's awkward. I didn't feel that from this movie. And in fact, I was sitting there like, I didn't even realize that certain songs got cut out until I came back home and I was like, oh my God, this one's not there. Like, you know, and I didn't care because I went to the show. And I think it did a good job of explaining everything to people who were just like haters or just didn't understand it because they're just like, I just love the music, but they didn't get the artistry behind it. So I think it did a good job of displaying her artistry. Yeah.
I will say the only thing that I got distracted by, because I also tend to notice more in the sound of things, but like she did use album vocals for some moments or songs. Which I thought was an interesting choice, because I was like, did you not record? If you recorded all 56 shows, like you'd think. I don't know. That was an interesting choice.
That's valid.
Of course, I don't want to, this isn't shady in any way, but the one thing that I was a little annoyed about during the run was people praising the Drunken Love run.
Yeah.
Because she did lip sync it.
Yeah, she
the
does.
last part of it.
Yeah.
And it was re-recorded from the Stockholm show. So everyone's like, oh, she's on a different Stockholm. I was like, no, it's just a different recording. But I thought it was really funny because then in the movie, it becomes a wide shot. So you like don't really get a close-up of her
going
lip syncing. I just thought that was funny, but I've had to unfortunately tell a lot of people like, oh yeah, that part was lip sync. Not that she could probably kill it live. Like I'm sure it's more just for like consistency purposes.
Yes.
But anyway, just FYI, people, she's not a god. She's still human.
Yeah, and I think people take that as like you're attacking. No one said she couldn't sing.
No.
It was just saying that factually speaking, there was a little bit of technical help, which is fine. It happens.
Oh, yeah.
Every time, every show, any kind of show. Ariana Grande does it for her show sometimes too. It is hard to sing like that consistently. Yeah. I mean, look at how
Celine Dion would often lip a lot of her stuff. Yeah.
You have to. It's a lot. I mean, even with the documentary, it showed that she was dealing with so many respiratory issues and nasal. Like the whole ENT situation is no joke. And her nose was effed up, which means her throat's going to be effed up. If her throat's effed up, then it's all connected. Even me as a singer, I'm like, when she said because you can hear the rasp in her voice, but you're like, oh, maybe it's just exhaustion. A lot of singers sing past all of that, just with humidifiers, honey, a bunch of other crap. But I think it was good that she showed people like, hey, I'm back here with the machines, halfway passed out, which is why the lip syncing is warranted. Is it nice to kind of see her not do it? Absolutely. Most of the time she doesn't. But like I said, that opening act was I can sing, now leave me the F alone. So like,
yes.
But yeah, I think having her talk about like the behind the scenes of what goes into being a human, her helps. Like she's always kind of had that, like and I think it was the Beyonce experience. She's crying like, oh my God, why did God give me these gifts? And people are like kind of like memeing it, like, why did God give me this big ass house and this rich ass husband? You know, like people are kind of memeing it. But this one is like, she's physically broken. Like during the I Am tour with the rigging, she got basically thrown into not purposely, but the rigging slammed her into the stage and resulted in a knee injury that people were thinking, you know, they didn't know about, obviously, because she wasn't like, hey, y'all, my kneecap's busted. So in the beginning of the tour, I remember seeing a lot of people saying she's being like lazy, which blows my mind.
Did
I'm
you?
Like, yeah, I heard it.
So I
like
was
a
the
blogger.
opposite. Oh, interesting. So when she did the Dubai show, people knew she was injured, but people thought it was a foot thing.
A foot thing,
I think because like her shoe was different on the one foot versus the other. But that's interesting. I thought most people knew that she was recovering from an injury. So that's interesting that you saw like criticism about it.
I think it might be one of those things where people just need a confirmation bias to talk about why she's a crappy person. It's one of those things, like instead of being like, hey, maybe she might actually be hurt, or hey, she's 40. Even if she wasn't hurt, she's 40 something's been doing it since she's like a kid. If she decides to just walk and talk and actually give you vocals, what's the big deal? She's not dropping it like she usually does. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I think that came up. I don't know, but I saw it during a blogger's kind of commentary. But yeah, It was interesting to kind of see that. I was like, oh, it was her knee. It's Gaga has injuries like crazy. Michael had his injuries. Madonna has her. Prince has his, had his, but they've not ever really like, this was the problem. So I appreciate that she kind of let people in about the physical wear and tear. Because unfortunately, people need to see you broken to understand that you're not perfect. But I did appreciate that. And then, what did you think about the throat injury situation? What did you think about that?
I know. I was surprised by that, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like the best singers, quote unquote, of the world, they all have had some sort of like thing happen to them. Yeah. And they like somehow sound like even better afterwards. It's insane. I agree. I think humanizing her was important, especially because she doesn't really do interviews and stuff anymore. Right. So like, I mean, it's her chance to just kind of say her piece as well, which is good. I enjoyed her. I appreciated her also just shouting out the crew, like the technical aspect of the show, and how like the most expensive part of the show is like the stage itself. Dude. And how like there are these people just risking their lives every day to build this insane structure, and she has three of them, and they're like traveling across continents.
Crazy.
That whole thing I thought was really great, because I don't think people realize how many people are involved in a tour. Like even for a rock band, it's a big crew that needs to take care of the instruments and do the lighting and do the screens and do all that. So then when you have something like this, which is just insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved all the more technical stuff, like her talking to that guy who was like, oh, we can't do that. She was like, I just looked this up and this thing exists.
Oh my God, that blew my mind, because it happens to me. What? Oh, that was
I know. I was like, I'm surprised people would talk back to Beyonce like that.
Yeah.
Like not bend over, or not, I won't say bend over, not like do everything they could to see if they could get what she wants, not just like fully just dismiss it. I found that very interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's not he's not getting paid. I don't know why he was just like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't know. I will never understand that logic. But like I said, it's happened to me, and I'll sit there and be like, okay, I think maybe it's one of those things where it's like, this person is not from my field, or they may not have the breadth of knowledge necessary to check me. But she was like, no, I Googled it.
Yeah. And yeah, that's just so, I loved them showing all the like technical difficulties and stuff too. Like just seeing all the people involved to like fix things and make stuff happen. Yes. You know, I think it's good. I wish she showed that horse moment though. I don't know if maybe you missed that. That was near the beginning of the tour. Yeah. No. That was near the beginning of the tour, wasn't it? Yeah. Wait, it was near the end?
It was like in the middle-ish, because I watched some clips when I got back home of like, the funny moments.
Like when she couldn't get off the horse, or like she tried to signal something, but the guy misunderstood. And then, she said, but I'm sure she wasn't like actually mad about it. Yeah. Like people were like, oh, he got fired and stuff. But like, no, it's like, it's tough. Like in those situations, like you can't really communicate. So you just do what you can. Like I'm sure he was fine, that man. He was doing what he could. Yeah. I also, in addition to Blue Ivy's dance moment, I loved her interrupting the whole setlist conversation. I thought it was hilarious.
It was. It's a kid being a kid, you know? Yeah. Like, so normal. But it wasn't like a rude way. You know, like some people try to be like, oh, she's so... That's what kids do. You can
it was dance. Just like cute. Yeah. No, I don't think anyone really took it that way. Yeah. No, I thought it was funny.
I keep seeing the bad crap. People are like, she needs to get her kid. And I'm like...
you're following the wrong people.
No, it's not following. It's like, I'll see the clip, right? And I'll read a comment. The top comment will be like, oh my God, that is so funny. But I'm like, let me see what other people are saying. So I'll scroll and they'll be like, oh, she's such a spoiled brat. Or they'll be like, oh, she's almost as bad as Northwest. And I'm like, y'all don't work with kids or something. Like even when I teach dance, like the kids are like, but I don't like this. My back hurts. You're just like, kid, just shake. You know? It's what kids do. They interject because they're so excited and they really like something or they really dislike something, and they don't mean harm. But I do appreciate her putting that in and being like, yeah, I'm a normal mom, as she tucks her kids into bed on that jet. But you know, it's just things like that. It's just really, it's cute. Just because she's rich doesn't mean she's not a normal person or her kids aren't like down to earth. Yeah, totally. You know, so it kind of demystified Blue as well, because people don't know that little girl. Still,
and they shouldn't really.
They should not. But they shouldn't make assumptions like she's going to be like this nepo baby. She doesn't deserve to be happy. You know.
Totally.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And yeah, I guess the other highlights, I appreciated obviously everything about Uncle Johnny. Yeah. And of course Kevin Prodigy from like the ballroom scene, and just kind of talking about the history of ballroom and everything. I really appreciated her including all of that. Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on that moment at all?
I think it's good to see, because a lot of people interested. I don't know what the relationship is with the general public and like gay and like the ballroom scene, because a lot of people think that like a lot of slangs come from certain communities when they've come from Black, brown people of these scenes, male, female, and indifferent, whatever. But it's interesting that she kind of was like, this is where it came from, you know, like this is where it's coming from. And even if it's not just coming from there, it all intertwines, where being a woman has inspired some of the gays, where they dress up in their mother or their auntie's best gowns and then go to the ballroom and then create their own slang that we have adopted now as women and adopted into the lexicon as, you know, yes, and queen and, you know, 8 down and all this other crap like that, you know. So it wasn't too preachy. That's what I appreciate, because I think, in the past like 3 years, a lot of media has become very much like, we're going to stand up for this group that did not ask us to do this. And she wasn't standing up for anyone. She was just like, here's their story.
Yeah.
Let them tell it. So I appreciate that. It wasn't like, this is what I'm going to speak for the trees, you know? So I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Yeah. And then, of course, the other highlight moment was DC5. We get a little clip of the 5 members of Destiny's Child all being in the same room together, which It's very exciting.
Yes. No, Farrah. Sorry.
He doesn't
I shouldn't
count.
laugh because I shouldn't laugh. She had a hard time. But sorry. But yeah, no, I think that was really awesome. And again, if you guys have not watched our Pop 101, our guide to Destiny's Child, definitely watch it.
Yes.
And also watch our Renaissance review. And also, if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel. But yeah, no, I think it's exciting that they got together and they're able to kind of like rebuild, because anything's possible, you know?
Mm.
And then now, no offense to Uncle Matthew, but he's out the picture essentially. So there'll
He's
be
not,
less.
though. He's not, though. I think he owns the trademark.
Okay, all right, but like
Yeah.
in terms of like managing them, I mean, like
Maybe.
sorry.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah.
Not gonna be like, well, y'all can't sing that song. Excuse me. Like, we're all grown ass women. So yeah, I do appreciate that they're all anything's possible. My point is, if they have to do a whole like, you know, Jackson 5 to the Jackson and just call themselves DC 5, then I'll take it, because we'll know. We'll know. So yeah, I mean, what's next for the Renaissance? We've kind of reached the end of all of this, but I guess Act 1 is completed. I don't know. I mean, we got a new song, so I guess it is like that's the last cover of the book.
I mean, I guess the last part is the DVD release.
Oh my God!
The film, right? I guess that's or the streaming release, or however she ends up deciding to do it.
Yeah.
I would think that there will be a version that at least includes the entire set list, or even a version where it's like just the uncut concert and then
like a clean version. Yeah,
like a clean just the concert itself, because then we didn't really get to see the interludes and stuff like that, which I would like to.
Oh my God, yes. I was thinking, I was like,
especially if we don't have visuals, right? Especially if these are the visuals, then I want a full uncut
two
concert.
version. Yeah, and I agree. Valid.
Yeah. There have been random rumors about South American dates being done, which I feel like would be odd to announce now, so I don't think that's happening.
That's right.
But otherwise, Act 2. Yeah, what are you hoping's next?
I'm curious to see what she's going to do next, because this album, it's going to be tough to top. It's going to be tough to beat. Like, what can you do after this? So whatever she has planned, I'm sure she's had it planned since back when. Because considering the massive
I'm
scale,
sure Act 2 is done.
You know what I'm saying? Like, consider the massive scale. If you guys are wondering why, considering the massive scale of this tour, the 3 stages, the crew, the dancers, the references, the just, you know, honey, whatever she has coming up, I hope she's not too nervous, because now she set the bar really high again.
But she's got nothing to prove anymore, like she said.
This is true.
So,
this is true. But think about it. Some people kind of like, after I Am Sasha Fierce, there was self-titled, and then there was this whole like suddenly Beyonce's Black thing, and some people were like, I don't really like that. Black is King came out. People were like, I'm not really digging that. If she comes out with another Act 2 and it has a very Black love centric thing, some people might be turned off. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if some people do country, they might be like, oh my God. So it's one of those things where it's like, she may not have anything to prove, but
she still wants success. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
Come on.
Who
like,
doesn't? Yeah.
Come on. Even if it's a B+, give me some. Give me a good grade.
Yeah. I agree.
You know?
Yeah,
so
I'm still hoping
curious.
with the kind of the Act 2, if the whole rumor of Act 2 being country and rock influenced is true, I'm actually here for that. I think that could be really cool. I think it could be really cool.
Yes, get Rina Sawayama.
And then maybe not Rina. I don't know.
Okay, don't get Rina, but my point is,
that wasn't the angle I was going for, but maybe.
Like a new metal kind of rock, not punk. She has to do like...
something just really experimental with rock and country, and then going back to like, again, the roots of it, which also is in Black culture as well.
Yeah.
So that would be really interesting to explore. And then I'm still hoping Act 3 is Destiny's Child.
You've been saying this since 2 years ago. So
I know. I'm just manifesting it. Like, come on.
Yeah, right.
Like, this has to be setting up, like, all the DC5 stuff. It's been like,
come on, it's like the 25th anniversary, right? Come on, dude. Like,
that's next year. So maybe Act 2 is Destiny's Child.
Come on, Beyonce. Please listen to 2 humble broadcast jockeys. Please.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm excited for her. We'll see what happens. that brings us to the end of our, I guess, not even our review. What would we call this? The end of our recollection of the Renaissance.
A little recap.
The Renaissance recap, yes. If you attended the Renaissance tour, please let us know what city you went to and what your favorite costume was. Please, I want to know.
No, favorite moment.
Favorite moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, favorite moment. Also, did you watch the film? If so, did you like it? You better had like it. Also, give us any kind of thoughts in the comments because we want to talk to you, the Beehive, about all of the good stuff. And if you want to hang out with us and the crew, you can come to our Patreon to get priority choice on all of our next episodes. And also, follow us at CCTV Bobs on all social media. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for our YouTube channel. And if you are enjoying the show on a podcast platform, please give us a follow, a rating, and a review. Until next time. That's Chris.
That's Shan.
Signing off from the CCTV Nonstop Bob Show.